guess the first thing I'd have to do is say thank you to everybody that came out. It was an unbelievable environment, something that I think is kind of maybe once in a lifetime here. Perfect storm with Coach Murphy and Jaden coming back, and them coming off their national championship season, and us coming off the Missouri Valley championship season. It was unexpected. I expected probably about half of what showed up, and what an unbelievable environment to play a game in. A little bit bittersweet, I guess, for the weekend. We had a lot of learning experiences. That Friday night was one of them. To be able to play in front of that type of a crowd and that atmosphere, and to compete the way we did against the number one team in the country. I know the score didn't show it, but like I told our team, if you would have turned off the scoreboard and you just showed up to watch a game, you wouldn't have thought one team was the number one team in the country and the other one wasn't, because we played just to their level as far as confidence went. I was worried about our freshmen going up against them, and they showed a lot of poise and a lot of confidence, and we had some great at-bats against, arguably one of the best pitchers in the country. Jackie Trina is intimidating when she's out there, and our kids weren't scared at all. That was the positive that I took out of that game. We played great. We made some little mistakes, and Alabama's a team that's like, when they see a little bit of a weakness, they get a little bit of a break, they're just going to exploit it, and they did. And they did that all weekend, not just to us, but to everybody else too. And that's why they are number one in the country. But we responded the next day and came out and played really well. Jamie Fisher bounced back and had a great game for us against North Dakota State. We made some plays and had some great at-bats on Saturday, which allowed us to win a couple of games and get back on track. On Sunday, I think that was one of those learning experiences. It was one of those things that you can tell players over and over and over again that Sunday is going to be the tough day. It's like that from here on out. It's always fun to play that first game. Just like I told them 3 weeks ago, it's easy to get up for that first day of practice, but how about the 23rd day of practice? How's that going to be? And it's the same way on a 5-game weekend. Friday night, that's easy to get up and be intense and play hard. And same on Saturday, but when it comes to Sunday, and we always say it's not the night before of sleep that matters, it's 2 nights before. Well, we didn't get out of here until 11:30, 12 o'clock after that Alabama game, and it showed up yesterday. It showed up, but I think it was something that needed to happen, and I'm glad it happened the first weekend, because now they know that your body doesn't feel that great after going through that grind Friday and Saturday, and they weren't ready for it, and it showed up in our performance. I told them I'll take the blame for that, because I didn't tell them about it. I wanted to see how they reacted on their own. Hopefully it wasn't a situation that we had to deal with, but it was, and moving forward we're going to get better with that, and I can tell you that we won't get no hit and only get 1 hit in 2 games on Sunday ever again. But we got something great to look forward to this weekend. We traveled to Arizona State. It's supposed to be 75 and sunny every day that we're there, which is something to look forward to in itself. But we get another shot at a top 5 team in the country in Arizona State, in a place where they're at home for their first 30 games of the year, and talk about maybe getting complacent and not thinking about somebody that's coming in to whip on you. So we're gonna try to sneak up on them and get them next Friday. And then we've also got another good Big Ten opponents in Michigan State and Illinois. And then we've also got a game against Illinois Chicago as well. So another weekend set up just the same as it was this weekend, 5 games in 3 days, and hopefully continue to prepare us for that Valley Series weekend, where we've got to make sure that we're ready to go for Sundays. Any questions?
Ryan, you said it was a learning experience for your team. How much did you learn about your team this weekend?
We learned a lot. I mean, there was a lot of unanswered questions, and still is, really, to be honest with you. The biggest thing that I learned was that they're not afraid, and they weren't going to be, I guess, pushed around mentally by themselves. They didn't stand in their own way that first game by being scared or timid. And they were able to take a lot of the things that we've been teaching them to the field, which is very encouraging. Because a lot of times when they get in those uncomfortable situations, all the stuff that they've been working on, they just go back to their old habits and things like that because it's comfortable. But they didn't, so that was a great thing. So we'll see. I mean, and we still have some unanswered questions as far as depth goes and what our options are when we're struggling like we were yesterday, to get somebody to light us up and get us a spark off the bench or something. Those are still some unanswered questions, but we'll find those out here in the next probably 10 or 15 games.
So you take Sunday as just an aberration, I mean, especially on offense, I mean, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it was just, we all felt tired. I think every team in the whole tournament felt tired. You could just tell. Sundays are always, a potential for high scoring games because pitching's a little bit tired, as well as making mistakes just because of the mental fatigue of the weekend. But I think it's one of those things with this group is they needed to experience it one time. It's kind of like, hey, that stove is hot, don't touch it. But they're going to touch it once just to make sure. And once they know, we should be good going forward because they've experienced it. So.
Do you like the idea going through, especially the non-conference season, trying to get about as many learning experiences as possible just to keep preparing you for the league?
For sure. I mean, our goal is to set ourselves up to get into that regional tournament, which, you can do it two ways. One, you win the conference tournament. Two, you set yourself up for an at-large bid. And these pre-conference games are very important when it comes to the at-large bid process. But for us, really, it's more of a let's find out. So let's find out as many things as we can about this team. Who can do what roles we're going to put people in. And like what I like to say is let the kids show us who they are so that we can move forward and set ourselves up for that conference season and make sure that we have everything in order. We know what our game plan is when we hit adversity, and we know what our routines are, and that's what this pre-conference season is for, these first 25 games.
Will Alabama come back?
Talked to Coach Murphy about that yesterday right before he got on the bus. It's in the works already, let me tell you. It's in the works like it was when I got the job here. I started with him then, and hopefully it won't take me as long this time to get him back here. Any questions? Thank you.